Buongiorno ragazzi. Ciao Bruno. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man.
How are you feeling?
You know what? I've never come away from a loss with a smile.
Yeah, speaking of losses, what's he still doing here, man?
He's the Serie A bear.
Oh, it's the Serie A
I haven't
bear.
lost a Serie A match since I've gotten this bear.
Yeah?
And if we lose against Juventus, it's not my bear.
It's not going to happen. Ragazzi, we are here to talk about two things. Mostly, of course, we are going to preview the huge Derby d'Italia, which I'm so excited before. I reckon we've never been in a position to roll over the Ladri old lady as we are this time around. But before we get into the most hyped up, aggravating fixture of the season, Bruno, your reaction to what was, let's face it, a really good effort against Barcelona, man.
Look, we go to Barcelona 3 years ago and we play there. It's 4-0, 5-0, 6-0.
Yeah.
We don't score, we look lost. You know, we started really well. We looked really composed, and 2 minutes in,
2 minutes.
Lautaro scores something which I feel if he tried to do that again, it would never happen.
Yeah, it's one of those strikers finishes where you only have half a second to think about it, and that striker's impulse gets you over the line. Something that Bruno mentioned that was very interesting is that was actually probably our hardest chance on goal, and Lautaro converts it in the first 2 minutes. We know that we let that game go by not converting our chances in the first half, Bruno.
Yeah, definitely. And our chances in the first half were ridiculous. We should have been up 2-0, possibly 3-0 at a minimum. And we controlled the run of play. And we discussed earlier, it took Messi, who keeps his mouth shut, to come out and give a team talk to get the team rolling. But in saying that, it was a very Barcelona game. Yeah. They had 66% of the possession. Fouls were 17 to 18. Almost 40 fouls in a freaking game.
Physical game.
Now, it was physical. They slowed Inter down. What was really impressive was Martinez and Sanchez played really well together. Yeah, Sensi would have been man of the match. If we won, if we drew. Yeah. But Messi did claim that role. Now, you got to think, it was Messi's first game back after injury. And not just that, it was 1 and 2 at the Camp Nou. Yeah. We weren't in the San Siro where it would have been a bit harder to swallow. But not just that, it was Barcelona's best performance this season. Yeah, they had to play out of their skin. And as I said in the video so many times, it's Barcelona at the Nou Camp. Let's not forget the kind of fortress that is. Before we move on to the Derby d'Italia, we know that Borussia Dortmund beat Slavia Praha 2-0, which puts them in the box seat. 4 points for them, 4 points for Barcelona, 1 apiece for us and Slavia, meaning we are going to have to get 3 points from one of the Dortmund games. Without going into the rest of the fixtures, Bruno, do you still give us a chance to progress? It'll be tough, but this international break we're about to head into, Conte is going to come up tactically and work something out. He moved away from the three-man defense and brought he didn't move away from it, but he had his wing backs play a lot more defensively than they did attackingly. Of course. And you know, after international break, if no one gets injured, the team will come back rejuvenated and Conte will work his magic. With the fixture congestion, it's a good time for Conte to map out the next fixtures after the international break. I feel like we're working in clusters here this season, and where, you know, we analyse a certain period of time that we have to strategically plan for, and you might have an international break to reset, which is what makes this game so important. We can not only go into the international break with a win over our rivals, and I feel bad for saying this, but we could go into the international break 4 points at the top. We could go into the international break 1 point at the top. We could go into the international break 2 second. Behind. It could be anything. So let's talk about. But would you have predicted second place? Definitely not. So this is what I know Bruno will agree. Second place with 18 points from a possible 21. It's important to keep our heads on and stay as positive as possible. Remember, the season isn't over until the last kick on match day 38, let alone anywhere near over now. So, Juventus, the old lady, the old foe, the old enemy, not the strongest looking Juventus side, but I did watch their game on the weekend. They are starting to find their rhythm. I think it's a good chance for us to knock their rhythm out, but let's put it this way. It's going to be really hard for us. Yeah. It's going to be really hard for them. Yeah, and they're coming to us, which will play in our favour. Now, Juventus this season reminds me of a Manchester United in the Ferguson era where you know, Fergie time. They always get that win.
Yeah, they're hanging on to the last straw.
And they will. And you know what? Fiorentina exposed a lot of holes in Juventus, which no team's been able to do.
Mate, Brescia exposed some holes
Napoli,
in Juventus.
3-0 up, they won 4-3 from an own goal. Right? So Juventus isn't the Juventus we've seen in the last 7 years.
Do you think it's because they're poorer, or do you think maybe we stepped it up a little bit and Napoli in the last couple of years attempted to close the gap?
Not just that, I feel the rest of the Serie A is gaining more quality.
Yeah, okay.
The Serie A is improving, and
except
the
for
Juventus,
Milan.
Except for Milan, when something opposite reaction, right? So when something goes good, something has to go bad.
Exactly right.
And Inter's going good.
Yeah,
Milan's going bad. But it's saying that we played them recently in the International Champions Cup.
Yeah.
It wasn't a full strength Inter. It wasn't a full strength Juventus, but it was a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I remember seeing Conte's first when we lost on penalties, and to be honest, I was a little bit upset. You don't like to lose to Juventus in any manner, but to see Conte that pissed off at losing at penalties, man, he's bringing that fire. He's definitely bringing that fire at this game.
Now, we go back last season when we last hosted them. It was a 1-1 draw.
It was a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw with Spalletti.
Nainggolan with the bullet, Ronaldo with the equaliser.
7th minute goal, and then we conceded
63rd, 65th, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
But Pjanic.
Now,
with a team with Ronaldo, and a team with, you know, the team that they do have, Pjanic has stolen the spotlight from everyone.
He's in my opinion, I've never said this on camera, but I've said this to many people, he's the best midfielder in Serie A and has been for the last 3 or 4 years in my opinion.
Sensi is coming up.
Sensi is coming up, but Pjanic is a little bit putzel, man, and you want these kind of players on your team to get you over the line. So Bruno's identified Pjanic as the first major danger man.
We beat them was at home.
Yep.
And it was in 2016.
Yeah.
We won 2-1.
And we scored 2 late goals through Icardi and Perisic, I think that was.
Correct.
Yes.
Now, what I like to remember when this fixture does come around is, remember Juventus were going through that massive unbeaten streak?
Yeah.
2011-12? Something.
Yeah, under Conte.
Under Conte. And who ended it?
We ended it.
Yeah,
we did.
And you don't like to see this, but it plays on the minds of the Juventus players.
100%.
And that at the San Siro, for a team like Juventus, who are so dominant in the league, they struggle to get the full 3 points at the San Siro with Inter.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the time. And I just feel if we drew with them at the end of last season where, you know, the whole Icardi bullshit was going on. I don't want to bring it up, but that was all going on. We had Spalletti as a manager who wasn't managing a team anymore.
No, he wasn't.
They were doing their own thing at this point.
He was just there to keep their head screwed on.
And we were relying on the Borja Valero and Dalbert.
Yeah.
And we came away with a 1-0 win. Yeah. 1-1 draw, sorry. Now you look at this team. That was April, May, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months on. Right?
A completely different team.
We've got Lukaku, who hasn't been the most amazing player, but he's been scoring the goals that need to be scored.
And he's playing Conte's system
You've got Sensi, who is Messi.
So good.
Right?
I'm still blown away at his performance.
Now, I hope it's not true, but people are saying he's performing at the club because he's excited to be there. It's just a patch he's going through.
No way!
But I don't want to be skeptical, but he's been playing amazing. And Barella, he hasn't performed amazingly consistently, but he has performed really well.
He's starting to find his groove very well. His tenacity that he's showing and the way that he's able to switch the play, it's fantastic.
Now, we only conceded our 2nd goal of the season against Udinese when we were down a player.
Yeah.
Right? So if you look at the whole...
Udinese or against...
Sampdoria.
That's it, Sampdoria. Yeah.
But if you look at it, Inter has conceded 2 goals, scored 13.
Very good.
Juventus has conceded 5 goals and scored only 11. Not only, because, You can't complain with 11 goals in only 6 matches. But Inter's averaging more than 2 goals a game.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, Juventus are only 2 points behind us. They're still the front runners. They are still the best team in the league. Let's not go into this match thinking that we are entitled to 3 points and entitled to walk the rest of the season, because reality is going to come down crashing really hard. We have not even hit November yet. We have not even hit our December, January curse yet. We just need... What curse? We need to just go into this match and play our game, which is Conte's game. Let's do it. Team news.
And so, just before we move on to that, I heard, and I think it was from our boys on IFTV, they made this very big statement saying that, I forgot who it was, said Inter hasn't played the big teams to prove their worth. But in the Serie A, there are a lot more bigger teams, smaller teams, than there are big teams.
You can only beat who's in front of you.
And one of them said, you beat the small teams and lose to the big teams, you're still going to be very well up there. And what Inter's doing under Conte is taking 3 points away from the competition, from their biggest rivals, Milan, from an informed Lazio, and they're getting 3 points where they can.
Even away wins at Sampdoria and away wins at Cagliari, that's more points than last season. That win against Udinese, remember we drew a game to Udinese 0-0. So I completely agree with what Bruno's saying.
And we lose to Juventus, we're only 1 point behind?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
1 point behind.
1 or 2,
the 7-time champions.
We'll be 1 point behind.
1 point behind. The 7-time in a row champions.
Yeah.
7 games in.
Yeah.
This time last season, we couldn't see them. That's how far ahead they were.
Exactly right. In terms of who's going to line up for us, I apologise in advance. Sometimes we get these videos out 2 days early and we get team news wrong. That's an understatement. I've gotten almost every team news wrong so far, but we'll do our best. Anyway, Handanovic in goal. No arguments there.
No arguments.
Skriniar, De Vrij, Godin as the back three.
I don't know. I think maybe Ranocchia might be stepping in.
I highly doubt Ranocchio's playing against Juventus, but you never know. I think it's more likely to be D'Ambrosio or even Bastoni, but it won't be.
Bastoni had an amazing game against Sampdoria.
Yeah.
Right? He picked up an early foul and he was amazing.
Yeah, he was good.
But will it be consistent? One, Conte's not going to risk it against Juventus.
Nah, he won't.
And two, the youth and the immaturity, he doesn't understand the magnitude of a big game.
No, he doesn't. So, well, we'll see what happens in the defence. But more importantly, the 5-man midfield, including the wing-backs. Left-hand side, Biraghi or Asamoah?
Asamoah.
Purely for experience.
Experience, it's his former team.
He didn't play great against Barcelona, but that was what I was going to say. It's his former team. He knows the magnitude of this game. Asamoah, it's a no-brainer. Brozovic, Sensi, Barella?
I'm not sure about Barella.
He wants Vecino in instead.
No, I just feel Barella's more effective coming off.
Yeah.
Coming on. But if Barella starts, I do see an appearance from Borja Valero.
To come in later on in the match to slow the tempo. Borja Valero, just a fun fact, is only one of 2 first-team players to not get a single minute. The other one is 17-year-old Esposito. I have no doubt they will get some minutes. I have a feeling that Borja Valero needs to play a game or 2 before January because he will be the first name out the door, in my opinion, unless we get an injury. Look, we're not going to go into it, but the papers the last 2 days have been saying that we're actually going in January for another midfielder. If that's the case, Valero's probably going to be moved off.
Yeah, look, Barella, Vecino, you don't know which way Conte's going to go.
Yeah, it all depends on his tactics.
I feel you chuck Barella in, it's going to change the Juventus are going to shut down Sensi, Barella. Whereas you chuck in Vecino, they're going to go shutting down Sensi, trying to shut down Vecino, but he doesn't get the ball. So what are they going to shut down?
As you said, it's going to depend on Conte's tactics and how he wants to play in the first half. That'll be really, really important. Right-hand side. It's not going to be Lazzaro because you can't go unplayed for 4 weeks and then play against Juventus. Is it going to be Candreva or is it going to be Christian Rivas and Mario's goat Danilo D'Ambrosio?
Oh, look,
I'll go D'Ambrosio against Juventus. He's got that heart, bro. He'll score at the back post.
But both players are fighting for a spot on the national team. Now, I'm not sure if Mancini is going to hold off until the end of the round of play.
He should, if he's going to
or if he's going to be announcing it beforehand. If he announces it beforehand, D'Ambrosio will be starting.
All right.
If he announces it after, I can see Candreva wanting to get back into that national
Possibly.
team.
The front two is the easiest week to predict for the front two.
I
Because,
don't know.
well, Alexis Sanchez can't play. He's red carded, so you
Polly.
can't. Polly, oh yeah. Polly's coming off the bench in this game. Man.
Look, Lukaku is pulling an injury. Now, his national coach was at the Barcelona game.
Yeah.
Lukaku didn't even travel with the team. He is dealing with this injury. And it's a similar injury to what Ciro Immobile has. And you can't really operate on it, but at the same time, you can still play, but that could make it worse.
Well, that will explain him being rested for Barcelona. Conte's definitely put it in his head like you need to play against Juventus.
You need to play against Juventus. Now, in saying that, if Lukaku doesn't play against Juventus, he doesn't play for the national.
Yeah, I think he's playing well. I think it'll be Lukaku and Lautaro, but we'll see if Politano is the only other injection.
Look, and you said it, team news is always hard to predict. But Bastoni, could you have predicted he was going to be starting?
I said this before, and I'll say it one more time. Seeing Biraghi and Bastoni play like that in debut, the fans have gone straight from thinking of them as squad players who won't play all season to completely reliable backups that offer us an amazing amount of depth.
Yeah.
And that feels good to us.
And not just that, we forgot about Biraghi for the first couple of games of the season.
The first 4 games, we didn't.
And we're going to, one day we're sitting here, we're having a debrief after our video, and I said, what about Biraghi? And he's like, shit, we forgot about it. So, and that's the beauty of Conte. And that's what I love about this team this year.
Yeah.
Right? Under Spalletti, you knew who was playing, you knew who was coming on for who, and you knew roughly what time they'd be coming on. Under Conte, you don't know who's playing, right?
Yeah.
Now, Martinez, most definitely this game, and Handanovic and Skriniar, but the rest of the field is really free for all.
Yeah, well, apart from Brozovic, a fit Brozovic is going to start 99% of the time.
But a fit Brozovic has played every single minute of every single game.
I was saying this earlier. Players like Brozovic and Skriniar, man, they just know that they're the first names on the team sheet. No wonder their fitness is amazing and they run for days.
But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the mentality of the team.
Yeah.
Godin will provide
a massive voice
in the back.
Presence, yeah.
And I'm not critical of Skriniar. I just feel he has struggled a bit to adapt to the new formation. But what's made it a lot easier for him is having Godin there.
Yeah, of course.
And you got to think Godin's come up against Real Madrid.
He's come up against Juventus a couple of times. Remember, he scored against them last year in the round of 16.
Yeah, and you just got to think to yourself, he is the vice captain in this game.
Yeah, he really is, man. So I'm really looking forward to it. Conscious of time, but we've got a couple of minutes to talk about the rival, the opponent. He said it already. For me, Pjanic is the biggest threat. Ronaldo, world class, but Ronaldo's not going to create the chances. Our back three is going to prevent him from getting a sniff at the chances. Our midfield needs to shut down Pjanic. Where do you think the other threats are going to come from, Bruno? I mean, we can just go through the team sheet right now. Szczesny will start over Buffon unless Buffon kicks up a stink and says, this is a game that I really want to play. I don't think Sarri really listens to his team that much, though, what they want. De Ligt will definitely start alongside Bonucci. Time to expose De Ligt a little bit, I think, maybe.
Yeah, look,
but he has improved a bit in the last couple of games.
The loss of Chiellini has impacted them massively. I feel Sardi's plans got thrown out the window for De Ligt when Chiellini got injured and can't play, so he's been forced. But yeah, you're right on that. Pjanic is a player where you're trying to stop him from setting up a play. Then, as you're trying to shut the play down, he pulls a shot out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's very good with his shot.
Yeah, 11 out of his last 10 goals have been from outside the box.
Yeah. In terms of shutting down Stefano Sensi, this is where I think it gets interesting tactically. I have absolutely no doubt Sardi's going to put Matuidi and Khedira as his other two midfielders. Only reason is he loves Khedira, loves him on the ball, even though I don't rate him that highly. But when you look at Juventus' midfield, no one can really man-mark a midfielder quite the way Matuidi can. This is Matuidi's only good quality he has left, in my opinion. He's poor on the ball, he can't distribute a pass, he can't shoot, but he's great at closing down a man in midfield. I fully expect Matuidi to go one-on-one with Sensi, which is why I want Barella in the starting 11 as well.
What I'm worried about mostly for this game isn't the starting 11, it's the substitutes.
Yeah, we saw it against Barca, man. They sub in 140 million euro Dembele, we sub in Gagliardini.
Yeah, no, not just that. Juventus, they'll take if they're down, they'll take Matuidi out. They'll bring
Ramsey,
Rabiot, Ramsey, Costa, Dybala. You don't know. They've got ridiculous skill on the bench.
We can't even sit here and predict their front three because all we know is that Ronaldo will be on the pitch. Is it going to be Costa, Dybala, Mandzukic, Higuain, Bernardeschi?
So look, and Bernardeschi scored a Champions League.
Yeah, he scored in the Champions League. Yeah. A few Juve fans are a bit upset with him. They don't rate him that high, but you know what? He pops up here and there. Like, what do you expect? He's a good player.
But score prediction, what do you think?
I don't want to go optimistic, but I don't think we're going to lose. That being said, 1-1. I think it's the most probable scoreline, and it's a scoreline where whenever I predict it in my head, it always happens. So I'm going to go with 1-1.
I'm looking at a 1-1 draw as well.
Do you think we score first, or do you think Juve grabs it first?
I think Inter will score first. If Juve score first, they're going to make it very hard for Inter to score.
Very hard. Very
hard for Inter to score. I reckon this is more of a late goal in the match. It's not going to be something that starts, goals coming galore. But then again, would you have predicted Inter to score in the second minute? No.
So
would you have predicted Alexis Sanchez is asked to score a goal?
Nope.
No. So anything's possible.
Yep.
But 1-1. Sensi plays and Barella link up well. That's a combination that will get Inter in the years ahead.
Absolutely. Just before we go, I have one more request.
I've got one more too.
Un bacio.
Bello mio. Now, I've got something for you guys, the fans. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be writing an article during the international break, and I want your opinion. So leave a comment down below. Do you think the start of inter-season has been all smoke and mirrors and we're going to hit a massive roadblock? Or do you think this is the way, moving forward for Inter at the moment? I'm going to be using your feedback. I'll be quoting you in the article. So please leave a comment down below. And as always, Forza Inter.
Forza Inter worldwide. Dai ragazzi, let's
go.
go.